Have you ever sat in your living room and noticed that the silence feels much louder than it used to be? Perhaps the children have moved on to their own lives, or the office once visited for 30 years no longer requires your presence. It is a common struggle. The feeling that one is losing their grip on the world they spent a lifetime building. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. He believed that happiness depends on the quality of internal reflections, not on external events. Consider an architect who no longer builds skyscrapers. If he seeks his worth only in the buildings he once made, he will feel lost. But if he finds his worth in his own integrity and wisdom, he remains whole. This video shares the anchor points method, a practical way to find a sense of footing. Stay until the end to discover a simple 7-day plan for your daily life. To begin, if you are ready to find peace, please type, "I control my response." I control my response. The first foundation of the anchor points method is understanding the circle of family through the lens of the dichotomy of control. This principle teaches that our peace depends on a single, sharp distinction. The difference between what is truly ours to command and what is not. In the ancient world, the Stoics called this prohieresis, or the power of choice. They believed that while we may influence the world, we only truly own our own thoughts, our own intentions, and our own reactions. Applying this today is incredibly difficult, especially for those who have spent decades as the protectors and providers of a family for 20 or 30 years. You were the one who fixed the problems. You bandaged the scraped knees and guided the big decisions. It is only natural to feel that you must continue to fix things, even when your children are grown. We often confuse our love for them with a need to control their outcomes. This leads to a heavy heart and many sleepless nights. Consider this illustrative situation of a 65-year-old mother. She watches as her adult son makes financial choices she knows are unwise. She sees him spending money he does not have and neglecting his savings. Out of love, she spends her evenings rehearsing arguments to convince him to change. She loses sleep. Her chest feels tight, and her peace is gone. She feels she is failing as a parent because her son is failing at his finances. However, a Stoic analysis reveals a different truth. Epictetus taught that we own our motivations, but we do not own the results of other people's lives. He believed that trying to control things outside our own mind is a recipe for misery. Epictetus wrote, "The Stoics taught that some things are within our power, while others are not. Within our power are opinion, motivation, desire, and, in a word, whatever is of our own doing." This principle is especially helpful when you find yourself overthinking family conflicts or feeling betrayed by the choices of those you love. You may apply this when a relative ignores your advice or when you feel responsible for someone else's happiness. You must realize that you are the steward of your own character, not the author of theirs. To put this into immediate practice, try an exercise called the unsent letter. It takes exactly 15 minutes. Step number 1. Find a quiet place and write a letter to the person you are worried about. Write down every single thing you wish they would change and every outcome you are hoping for. Step number 2. Take a pen and circle only the words that describe your own actions. Perhaps you can circle the word listening, or the word praying, or the word modeling. Step number 3. Draw a large, dark line through everything else. Those crossed out words are the things that are not up to you. They are the wind and the waves. The circled words are your anchor points. Focus only on the circles today and let the rest be. If you are ready to let go of a burden that was never yours to carry, please type, I release what I cannot reach. I release what I cannot reach. The second foundation of the anchor points method is the reclamation of your worth, moving it from the hands of the world back into your own heart. The Stoic principle at the center of this is that excellence, of virtù, is its own reward. The Stoics taught that the value of a thing lies in its own nature, not in how many people applaud it or how many titles are attached to it. They believed that a person of character is like a gold coin, whether it is sitting in a king's palace or buried deep in the mud. Its value as gold remains the same. This is exceptionally difficult to remember in our modern world. We live in a society that measures human beings by their productivity and their professional rank. When you reach the years of retirement or move away from the busy seasons of midlife, you may feel as though your title has been stripped away. You are no longer the manager, the director, or the lead. To the world, you might feel invisible, as if your value has decreased simply because your schedule is no longer full. This transition can feel like a loss of identity, leaving you to wonder who you are when no one is asking for your expertise. Consider this illustrative situation of a retired teacher. For 35 years, she was the pillar of her community. Her days were filled with students seeking guidance and colleagues asking for her perspective. But 2 years into her retirement, she notices a quiet sting of sadness. She is no longer invited to school board meetings. The local news no longer asks for her opinion on education. Sitting on her porch, she feels like a relic of the past, as if her decades of wisdom have been forgotten by the very institution she helped build. The Stoics would look at this teacher and remind her that her excellence did not come from the school building or the invitation to a meeting. Marcus Aurelius practiced this mindset often. He reminded himself that a beautiful object is not made better by praise, nor is it made worse by silence. He believed that true beauty and worth are self-contained. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Everything which is beautiful in any way is beautiful in itself, and terminated in itself, not having praise as part of itself." You can apply this principle whenever you feel overlooked by your family, or when you feel that your contributions to the world are no longer recognized. It is especially helpful when you find yourself overthinking your legacy or regretting that you are not as important as you once were in the eyes of others. Your dignity is not a public office. It is a private possession. To reclaim this feeling of worth, I invite you to perform a daily activity called the skill audit. It requires 30 minutes of your time. Step number 1. Identify one specific skill you mastered during your working years. It might be the ability to organize chaos, the patience to listen to a frustrated person, or the discipline to see a task through to the end. Step number 2. Find a small task in your life today where you can apply that same level of excellence. Perhaps you apply your organizational skills to your kitchen pantry, or use your deep patience while writing a heartfelt letter to a friend. Step number 3. As you work, notice that the mastery feels the same. The office is gone, but the master is still here. Excellence is found in the doing, not in the audience. If you are ready to stop seeking permission to feel valuable, please type, "My worth is within me." My worth is within me. The third foundation of the anchor points method is the practice of finding peace in the present moment. Even when the ghosts of regret and betrayal try to pull you back into the past, the Stoic principle for this struggle is known as amor fati, or the love of one's fate. It is the understanding that the past is a completed book. We can neither edit its pages nor change its ending. The Stoics believed that true wisdom lies in accepting every event that has already happened as if we had chosen it ourselves. They taught that to fight against what has already occurred is to waste the only thing we truly own, which is our energy in the here and now. This is perhaps the most difficult principle to live by in our later years. As we grow older, we naturally tend to look back and review the road we have traveled. Many people find themselves trapped in a cycle of overthinking. They replay betrayals from 20 years ago or mistakes made in their youth. You may find yourself waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, your mind spinning with what-if questions. What if I had stayed in that job? What if I had noticed the signs of betrayal sooner? What if I had been a better friend or spouse? These thoughts feel like they are helping you find closure, but in reality, they are only keeping the wound open. In our modern world of constant comparison, it is very easy to feel that our lives are defined by the people who let us down or the opportunities we missed. Consider this illustrative situation of an individual who remains deeply bitter toward a former business partner. 15 years ago, this partner made a decision that cost the business a great deal of money and led to a difficult legal battle. Today, the business is long gone, and the partner has moved away. Yet, this individual still carries the anger as if the betrayal happened yesterday. Every time they see a similar business on the street or hear that partner's name mentioned, their chest tightens. They spend hours in their head relitigating the case and imagining what they should have said during that final argument. They are living in a ghost world, sacrificing their current peace for a past that no longer exists. The Stoics would say that this person is suffering twice. Once from the event itself, and 1,000 times more from the memory of it. Seneca was very clear about this trap of the mind. He argued that we often give our imagination the power to hurt us far more than reality ever could. Seneca wrote, "There are more things likely to frighten us than there are to crush us." We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. He believed that while the body might be in the present, the mind is often off in the distance, fighting battles that are already over. You may apply this principle when you are struggling with a family conflict that was never resolved, or when you feel the heavy weight of a career choice you regret. It is especially powerful for those who are caring for an ill loved one and feel guilty about things they did or did not do in the past. Whatever your personal faith or history, you must realize that your life is happening in this very breath. The past is now an external event. It is outside your circle of control just as much as the weather or the stars. To stop the cycle of overthinking, I invite you to try a specific exercise called the 2-4-hour permission window. This is designed to help you set a boundary with your own memories. Step number 1. The next time a memory of regret or betrayal enters your mind, do not try to fight it or push it away immediately. Instead, acknowledge it and say, "I see you." Step number 2. Set a physical timer on your phone or a clock for exactly 24 hours. Give yourself full permission to feel the frustration, the sadness, or the anger for that period of time. But you must tell yourself, I will let this fire burn until the clock stops. Step number 3. When the 24 hours are over, you must consciously close the book. Tell yourself, the past is now external. I cannot edit the script. I am returning to the present. This practice teaches your brain that while your feelings are valid, they do not have a permanent seat at the table of your life. You are giving yourself the dignity of being human, while maintaining the discipline of a Stoic. You are choosing to be here, where your life is actually happening. If you are ready to let go of the what-ifs and find your footing in today, please type, I am here, in the now. I am here, in the now. To bring all these foundations together, we must look at the anchor routine, a deliberate structure for your morning and evening that keeps your mind from drifting. The Stoic principle behind this routine is called prosoche, or spiritual watchfulness. The Stoics believed that philosophy is not something you merely read in a book, but something you must practice every hour of every day. They taught that the mind is like a muscle. If you do not train it to stay in the present, it will naturally wander back into the past or worry about the future. Seneca, one of the great Stoic teachers, insisted that we must be our own observers, checking in with ourselves at the start and the end of every day to ensure we are living according to our values. In our modern world, this is very difficult because we are surrounded by noise from the moment we wake up. Many people start their day by turning on the television or checking the news on their phones. Before they have even finished their first cup of coffee, their minds are filled with global tragedies, political arguments, and economic fears, all of which are entirely outside of their circle of control. By the time the sun is up, their anchor has already been swept away by the tide of the world's chaos. We have lost the art of the quiet morning and the reflective evening, leaving us reactive rather than intentional. Consider this illustrative situation of a man who has recently retired. For years, his routine was dictated by his alarm clock and his commute. Now, his days are wide open. He spends his mornings scrolling through social media, seeing photos of others traveling or hearing news that makes him angry. By lunchtime, he feels a sense of vague anxiety and restlessness. He goes to bed feeling that the day simply happened to him. Rather than he being the master of his day, he feels like a passenger in his own life, drifting without a map or a destination. The Stoics taught that we must take command of our mornings to prepare for the storm and our evenings to learn from the day's journey. Seneca practiced a very specific form of daily review. He believed that by looking honestly at our actions, we could find the strength to improve. Seneca wrote, I examine my entire day and go back over what I have done and said, hiding nothing from myself, passing nothing by. He believed that the mind becomes much calmer when it knows it will have to account for itself at the end of the day. You may apply this routine when you are feeling overwhelmed by a long list of responsibilities, or when you feel that your days are beginning to blur together without meaning. It is especially helpful when you are going through a transition, such as a health change or a shift in your family dynamics. By creating these two small anchors at the start and end of your day, you provide yourself with a sense of dignity and order, no matter what happens in the world outside. To help you begin, I invite you to follow the 7-day anchor plan. Step number 1. Your morning prep. Spend exactly 5 minutes with your morning coffee or tea in total silence. Do not touch your phone or the television. Ask yourself one question. What is the one thing today I will likely try to control but cannot? It might be the weather, a long line at the store, or someone's bad mood. Decide right then that you will let it be what it is. Step number 2. Your evening review. Before you go to bed, list 3 moments where you stayed anchored despite the wind. Perhaps you didn't get angry when a car cut you off, or you listened to a complaining relative without trying to fix them. For the next 7 days, follow this specific focus. On days 1 and practice the 24-hour permission window for small frustrations like traffic or technology. On days 3 and 4, apply the skill audit to a simple hobby, doing it with total excellence for its own sake. On days 5, Luke, and 7, practice silent observation during a family conversation. Try to listen for 5 minutes without offering advice or a correction. Notice how much peace you find when you are not responsible for fixing the situation. By following this routine, you are telling yourself that your mind is a sacred space, and that you are the one who decides what enters it. You are no longer drifting. You are anchored. If you are ready to take back your morning and find peace in your evening, please type, "I own my day. I own my day." We return now to that silent house we spoke of earlier, and to the architect who no longer builds for others. The silence in your home does not have to be a space. It can be the foundation of your inner cathedral. The Stoics did not teach us to be cold or unfeeling. They taught us to be so steady that our love is not a burden to others, and our peace is not a victim of the world. You have spent a lifetime building your world. Now, spend this season building your peace. Remember the anchor routine, especially the 7-day plan. Step number 1. Start your morning with 5 minutes of silence. Step number 2. End your day by identifying 3 moments where you remain steady. If you are ready to make a change, please share one small commitment in the comments. Perhaps it is the commitment to try the morning silence or to stop overthinking a past mistake. Your words may be the very thing that encourages another member of our community today. If this reflection brought you a sense of calm, please like the video and subscribe to join us as we continue this journey together. Share this with a friend who may be navigating a quiet season of their own. These ideas are shared for reflection and personal growth, and they are not a substitute for professional mental health support. If you are going through something heavy, please reach out to someone you trust or a qualified professional. We respect all paths of faith, and we are walking this philosophical path together. Tonight, pick one burden to put down, just one. Tell yourself, "I am anchored. I am anchored."